In this video, we're taking you inside the Research and Development Gallery at the National Museum of the United States Air Force. This one-of-a-kind exhibit showcases the aircraft and technology that pushed boundaries and paved the way for modern flight. From experimental jets to stealth prototypes, we'll explore how the Air Force turned science fiction into reality. The Bell P-59B Era Comet was America's first jet-powered fighter, marking a significant leap into the jet age. Despite its pioneering role, it was underpowered and lacked the performance to compete with piston-engine fighters of its time. Still, it served an important function as a jet training platform. Though the P-75A Eagle never saw combat, it represented a bold attempt to shortcut the design process during wartime. Its failure highlighted the risks of hybrid engineering and rushed development timelines. Still, the project contributed to lessons in aircraft integration and design strategy. The Northrop X-4 first flew in 1948 and was used to gather data on the handling and performance of swept-wing aircraft, particularly during transonic and supersonic regimes. During flight testing, it successfully demonstrated better performance than straight-wing designs but revealed challenges with stability and control at high speeds. Although it had a limited flight program, it was instrumental in validating the potential of swept-wing technology for future aircraft. The XF-85 Goblin first flew in 1948, and its flight tests were aimed at determining whether a small, deployable aircraft could be used effectively to defend bombers during long-range missions. While the aircraft demonstrated its ability to fly and handle in flight, it faced significant challenges, including difficulty with in-flight refueling and landing, as it had no landing gear and was intended to reattach to the bomber after completing its mission. Due to its operational challenges and the development of more effective fighter aircraft, the program was ultimately canceled after only a few test flights. The XF-92A made its first flight in 1953, and it became one of the pioneering aircraft to demonstrate the viability of delta-wing flight at transonic speeds. Despite experiencing some stability issues, the aircraft showed that delta wings could provide superior aerodynamic performance at high speeds and were useful for future fighter aircraft designs. The aircraft's testing provided crucial data for the development of the next generation of high-speed fighters, including the F-102 Delta Dagger. To optimize performance, the P-80R featured a stripped-down airframe, polished surfaces, and a more powerful engine than standard P-80 models. These changes were made specifically to reduce drag and maximize thrust for the record attempt. It was a one-off aircraft, tailored for speed rather than combat. The X-5 was an experimental aircraft developed by NASA and the U.S. Air Force in the 1950s to investigate the effects of variable sweep wings on aircraft performance at high speeds. The aircraft was designed with wings that could be adjusted in flight, allowing the X-5 to test how changes in wing geometry affected the aircraft's stability, maneuverability, and performance at different speeds and altitudes. The program's primary goal was to explore how wing flexibility could improve supersonic flight and influence future fighter aircraft designs. The X-3 Stiletto was an experimental aircraft developed by the U.S. Air Force in the 1950s to explore high-speed flight at extreme altitudes. Its sleek, arrow-like design was created to test the effects of sharp-edged, thin-wing aerodynamics at Mach 2 and above. The aircraft's design aimed to improve stability and control at supersonic speeds, which were critical for the development of future high-speed aircraft. The XF-84H first flew in 1955, and its testing program was intended to explore the potential of turboelectric propulsion for military aircraft. During flight testing, it achieved high speeds, but it was notorious for producing a loud, terrifying noise caused by its propeller-driven engine, earning it the nickname Thunderscreech. Despite its impressive top speed, the aircraft's handling was difficult, and at high noise levels, mechanical issues and limited operational capability led to the cancellation of the program after only a few test flights. The X-1B made several test flights between 1958 and 1960, pushing the boundaries of speed and altitude and providing critical data for future supersonic and spaceflight vehicles. The aircraft reached speeds of Mach 2.5 and altitudes over 80,000 feet, contributing vital information on aerodynamics, flight control, and stability at extreme speeds. It also tested new materials and structures to handle the extreme conditions of high-speed flight. The XB-70A first flew in 1964, achieving speeds of Mach 3 and altitudes of over 70,000 feet, which were revolutionary for bombers of its time. Despite its impressive performance, the aircraft faced challenges in terms of its practical military application, particularly due to the development of more advanced missiles. Only 2 were ever built, and while the program was ultimately canceled, it provided critical data for supersonic flight and advanced aerodynamics. The NT-33 was equipped with a variable stability system that could simulate the flight characteristics of numerous aircraft. It was used for both human factors research and flight control development, including testing for aircraft like the F-15 and F-16, flying for over 35 years in this role. Although it was retired after only a handful of test flights, the X-10's data proved critical in shaping the future of hypersonic flight and space exploration. Its experimental flights demonstrated how a craft could be controlled during the harsh conditions of re-entry and maneuvering at high speeds. Its legacy persists in its influence on the design of later aerospace technologies like the Space Shuttle. Although the YF-12A was not adopted for operational service, its development provided valuable data on high-speed flight and advanced avionics. After its retirement from the Air Force, the aircraft was used by NASA for research purposes, contributing to the development of future supersonic aircraft. Its design and performance influenced subsequent aircraft, including the SR-71 Blackbird. The Bell XV-6A Kestrel was an experimental vertical short takeoff and landing VTOL aircraft developed in the 1960s as part of a collaborative effort between the United States, the United Kingdom, and Germany. It was based on the British Hawker Siddeley P.1127, featuring the Rolls-Royce Pegasus engine, capable of vertical takeoff and landing. The aircraft was intended to evaluate VTOL capabilities for military applications, including operations from confined spaces and austere environments. The X-29A conducted a series of successful test flights beginning in the mid-1980s, providing valuable insights into the advantages and challenges of forward-swept wings. It demonstrated improved maneuverability and stability at high speeds, which could be applied to future aircraft designs. The aircraft also validated the use of fly-by-wire control systems for managing complex flight characteristics. Despite its advanced design and performance, the YF-23 was not selected for production. The Lockheed YF-22 was chosen instead, which later evolved into the F-22 Raptor. 2 prototypes were built, PAVE-1, nicknamed Spider, and PAVE-2, known as the Gray Ghost, each powered by different engines to evaluate performance variations. The YF-23's emphasis on stealth and aerodynamic efficiency influenced future aircraft designs, including the F-35 Lightning II. The XC-142A was an experimental tilt-wing aircraft developed by the U.S. Air Force to explore the feasibility of combining the vertical takeoff and landing (VTOL) capabilities of a helicopter with the speed and range of a fixed-wing aircraft. The aircraft featured tilting wings that allowed for both vertical takeoff and forward flight, making it a unique hybrid between a helicopter and a conventional airplane. It was designed to test these capabilities in a military transport aircraft, potentially providing flexible, rapid deployment options for troops and cargo. Ryan's X-13's development provided valuable data on vertical takeoff and landing flight mechanics, particularly the challenges of transitioning from vertical to horizontal flight and vice versa. Despite its innovative design, the aircraft struggled with stability and control, particularly during transitions. Although it demonstrated the potential of VTOL, it was ultimately deemed impractical for further development. The Bell XV-3 was an experimental tilt-rotor aircraft developed by Bell Helicopter for a joint research program between the United States Air Force and the United States Army to explore convertiplane technologies. It featured an engine mounted in the fuselage with drive shafts transferring power to 2-bladed rotor assemblies mounted on the wingtips. The wingtip rotor assemblies were mounted to tilt 90 degrees from vertical to horizontal, designed to allow it to take off and land like a helicopter but fly at faster airspeeds, similar to a conventional fixed-wing aircraft. The VZ-9AV Avrocar was intended to be a lightweight, vertical takeoff and landing aircraft for reconnaissance and transport, using a circular design to reduce drag. However, during flight tests, it was found to have major stability and control issues with limited altitude and maneuverability. The project was ultimately canceled after several failed test flights, marking it as one of the most notable flying saucer prototypes. The McDonnell XH-20 Little Henry was an experimental helicopter developed in the late 1940s to explore the feasibility of using ramjet-powered rotor blades. This innovative design aimed to reduce the complexity and weight of conventional helicopter propulsion systems. Although the project was eventually discontinued due to high fuel consumption and noise issues, it provided valuable insights into alternative propulsion methods for rotorcraft. The XH-26 jet Jeep first flew in 1957, demonstrating its ability to take off and land vertically, as well as its performance in hovering and forward flight. While the aircraft performed as expected in terms of VTOL capabilities, it faced significant stability and control issues, particularly in low-speed flight and during landing. Despite its innovative design, the jet Jeep never advanced beyond the prototype phase due to these limitations, and the project was eventually canceled. Benson's X-25A gyrocopter was developed in the early 1970s as part of the Discretionary Descent Vehicle program. Its purpose was to evaluate autogyro technology for potential use in pilot escape and survival scenarios following ejection from high-speed aircraft. It demonstrated the feasibility of controlled descent and landing using a small rotorcraft design. Designed during the Cold War, the BQM-34F Fire B-2 helped train pilots and test surface-to-air missile systems by simulating enemy aircraft. Its agility and speed made it a valuable asset in preparing for high-stakes combat scenarios. Although the XAQ-M81A Firebolt was primarily a training and target system, it contributed to improving the effectiveness of military missile defense programs and air combat training. The Firebolt's performance helped refine air combat strategies and missile system accuracy during training exercises for U.S. military personnel. The MQM-107 Streaker is a reusable, turbojet-powered target drone used by the U.S. military to simulate enemy aircraft and missiles during weapons training. It played a critical role in testing air-to-air and surface-to-air missile systems. Designed for the B-1B Lancer, the AGM-131A SRAM-2 aimed to enhance the U.S. nuclear triad with its low radar signature and ability to strike targets without direct overflight. Development started in 1986, but the program was halted in 1991 due to the end of the Cold War and issues with the missile's motor. The Boeing YQM-94A Compass Cope B was an experimental high-altitude, long-endurance unmanned aerial vehicle UAV, developed under the U.S. Air Force's Compass Cope program, initiated in 1971. Designed for surveillance, communications relay, and atmospheric sampling, it featured a jet-powered sailplane configuration with a twin-fin tail and retractable tricycle landing gear. Initiated in December 1976, the Tacit Blue program aimed to develop a stealth reconnaissance aircraft capable of operating near enemy lines. The aircraft's design included a straight tapered wing and V-tail, contributing to its radar-evading profile. After its first flight in 1982, it completed 135 flights before being retired in 1985. Though the RQ-3 never became operational, it played a key role in advancing stealth UAV technology and autonomous systems. Lessons learned from the Dark Star directly influenced future unmanned platforms like the RQ-170 Sentinel. Its brief existence marked an important step in the evolution of strategic reconnaissance drones. The X-36 made its first flight in 1997, conducting a series of successful test flights to evaluate its stability and performance in high-angle of attack flight regimes. The aircraft demonstrated exceptional agility, showing remarkable control even in conditions where conventional aircraft would lose stability. It provided valuable data on advanced flight controls, stability at extreme angles, and the feasibility of tailless designs in future aircraft. The X-44A was a research aircraft developed by NASA to explore the potential of a blended wing body (BWB) design for future high-efficiency, high-performance aircraft. The aircraft featured a wing fuselage integration that allowed for improved aerodynamics, aiming to reduce drag and increase fuel efficiency while maintaining stability and control at high speeds. Its design was intended to advance technologies for future commercial and military airframes, particularly in reducing environmental impact and enhancing performance. The X-45A made its first flight in 2002 and demonstrated successful autonomous flight capabilities, including takeoff, navigation, and landing without human intervention. Its flight tests were pivotal in proving that unmanned aircraft could perform high-level missions typically reserved for manned fighters, such as targeting and strike operations. It helped validate the concept of using unmanned systems for dangerous or precision missions, paving the way for future unmanned combat aircraft development. Aurora's Long-EZ Borealis was a significant step toward developing long-range, unmanned aerial vehicles capable of extended autonomous missions. It demonstrated how lightweight composite airframes could be adapted for cutting-edge drone technology. In October 2024, the U.S. Marine Corps conducted a successful test flight of the XQ-58A Valkyrie alongside F-35 Lightning II stealth fighter jets during the Emerald Flag 2024 exercises at Eglin Air Force Base. The Valkyrie effectively provided critical threat targeting data to fifth-generation aircraft, demonstrating its capabilities as a forward-deployed sensing platform. From experimental jets to stealth prototypes, the R&D gallery shows us where imagination meets engineering. If this glimpse into the Air Force's most innovative projects sparked your curiosity, be sure to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes looks into aerospace history. Who knows what hidden gems we'll uncover next?